Yeah, we were at in Knightsbridge, and we were in the hotel by there, and we went for a Japanese meal on the night before, as a friend of ours, Nicky Kramer and Marcel Kramer, and obviously we had a good night and whatever, had a few drinks, and then we were supposed to meet down in the bar the next morning to go off somewhere to do. I can't remember what we were going to do and whatsoever, but I remember I'm always on time, so I'm down nice and early as usual. I'm sitting at the bar having a coffee or something, and then I thought my friend Marcel turned up on Nicky very early, and I thought, well, that's strange for them. They're usually always late. So the next time I'm having a chat to them, whatever, and going on, and this guy's tapping me on the shoulder, and I'm thinking well, this guy wants an autograph, and I wasn't really taking too much notice as I was talking. The next thing, like sort of like that, another second glance across, and I thought, you are not kidding me, are you? And then it's Michael, and he came out and he says, yeah, this is your life, and they really got me a kipper with that. It was a real surprise. I had no idea. The only thing that give it, well, not give it away. It's unusual. My friends were early because that's not them. So yeah, and then obviously my wife Glenn had bought me a new jacket and whatever. So it was up basically get changed and go off to the studio. And once we got to the studio, you stuck in the green room for quite a long time, really. It was hours. And then obviously eventually sort of like everybody arrives and then they ask you to come out, really. I said it was so nice to see some of my old friends, my family, all get back together, not back to being all in one place. And that's really nice. And obviously then your kids come on, and that's hugely emotional when that happens. And it's you realize you've played with the greats, the Jack Nicklaus Heavies and Sam Torrance and people around the world, Chris de Burgh, right, Kenny Dalglish, she was there. Ronnie Corbett, only man I'm taller than. Dennis Taylor. My life has been a great life because it's been really natural. I've kept a lot of people around me, and it's been that sort of way, and I think that's what I portrayed in This Is Your Life. Then my old mate comes on at Sandy Lyle at the end. We've played golf together since we've been little boys at 12 years of age. It makes you feel like the want to have some tears now, really, in a way. It was a good story from a young age, really, going from the farm to Hill Valley, playing and getting on the circuit and driving around in a caravan. And one minute I'm in a caravan, the next minute I'm in an airplane. You know what I mean? It was pretty amazing, really. So it was a nice tribute to say, right, this is coming to the end of my career, and it put my career in perspective, really. Doing This Is Your Life. It was quite a wild party after it. We had the party at the studio, and then pretty well we run out of booze, and we moved on to the hotel after that, and we just went on to early hours in the morning, and but we had a great time. I got to tell you the story of this because I don't know, 15 years ago we had a big flood and it got destroyed. I'm in a different house now. When we had this flooding, fortunately we had this sort of like bath upstairs that had like a jacuzzi in it, and the pump broke or something, and it came all through the ceiling. And unfortunately, the book was on the table below that room, and it got destroyed. All the pictures and everything, but the insurance people, Chubb, mentioned them. They took it away. Pretty well did it back to brand new, pretty well as good as it can possibly be. Because if you would have seen what it was like, you would have thought that was it, really. How are I going to replace this bit of history in my life? But certainly did a fantastic job. It's really unique when you see everybody in history, from being a little boy and all the friends you have and all your mates all come into one place, really, all at the same time. From basically being back in Shropshire and Oswestry and St Martin's, and then going over to Jersey, and I got these two different kind walks of life and different friends, really, and all of a sudden I've got my golfing friends as well, and to have one to be there all in at different times going through the show was incredible, really. doing This Is Your Life was very emotional because as I can sit back now, as I say, 65 years of age, and look at it and think, well, I've had a pretty good life, really, and that's been my life.